So let us start with storage class in S3. We already have gone through multiple aspects of S3. All right. We have seen replication. We have seen how we can create a bucket, how we can host a static website in AWS S3. Now it's time to understand what are storage classes in AWS, right? So just we have a different type of instance type in EC2. We have storage classes as the S3 specifically focuses on storage, right? So we are going to cover six type of storage classes in AWS S3. The first would be S3 standard for frequently access, and we have intelligent layering, which actually switches the storage classes. Then third is S3 standard IA and one zone IA, which stands for infrequent access. Then if there is data which can be which we are not accessing and is kept for archival purpose, we have S3 Glacier and Glacier Deep Archive. Okay, let us start with each one of them one by one. I have created the notes in such a way that we have all the information present in one place, right? Like what are the access frequency, durability, cost, use case, and retrieval time. All right. So when we come for S3 standard, the access frequency is frequent. Here the durability is 99.11 times 9 and the availability is 99.99%. Okay, so since it is providing so much of flexibility to us and we are accessing the data so frequently, that's why the cost of S3 standards is very much high as compared to other storage classes. The use case is frequently accessed data. You can use it for content distribution, big data analytics. Here the retrieval time is immediate. So on what basis AWS is charging the amount to us, right? So basically, the time you access the data, right? Whether it is frequent, unfrequent, pattern or non-pattern, right? Okay. After S3 standard, let us directly jump to S3 standard II, which stands for infrequent access. Okay, so here we are accessing the data infrequent because we are not sure whether we are able when we will need it, right? Here the durability is again 99.9 times 9 and the availability is again 99.99%. The cost is lower than S3 standard, but but it comes with the retrieval fees. Here the use case would be the data that is accessed less often but needs to be quickly retrieved when accessed. It can be used for disaster recovery and backup. Here, the retrieval time is immediate. Okay, in S3 standard and in S3 standard IA, we have retrieval time is immediate. Now, when we come to S3 one zone IA, the here again the access frequency is infrequent, retrieval time is immediate, durability is again same as that of S3 standard IA. So here again the availability is 99.9 times 9 and availability would be 99.95%. Why? Because the data is stored in single availability zone. And the cost is lower as compared to S3 standard IA and S3 standard. And here the data can be easily reproduced. The data doesn't require multiple availability zones for redundancy. Okay. The only difference between S3 standard IA and S3 standard one zone is in S3 standard one zone IA, the data is stored in one single availability zone. Okay. Now let us proceed with the intelligent tiering. Here the access frequency is unpredictable and the durability is again 99.9 times 9 and the availability is 99.99%. The cost is automatically optimizes because it moves the pricing model between different tiers. Okay, it can be frequent and infrequent based on the sort of user input that you are giving to S3, right? Here the use case would be the data with unknown or change and unknown changing patterns. Okay, so Amazon S3 automatically uh, defines the cost factor over here, right? And it changes the storage types as per is. Now moving forward with the fourth one, we already covered this three standard ones on nine. Moving forward with the Glacier. Now, why we use Glacier? Now we are certainly sure that there are few sort of data which actually we need to keep it for archival. The best example would be the employee database directory or the records that you keep it for your information, right? So here the access frequency is readily accessed, durability is again 99.9 times 9. And when it comes to cost saving, since we are not accessing the data frequently, we are accessing the data rarely, the cost is very low as compared to the storage classes. And archival data is here, you can say it takes nearly about minute to hour, okay, based upon the data we have. And the use case would be, it can be used for archival and can be kept for long-term backup. Here, there is one more new thing that AWS S3 has introduced, that is S3 Glacier Deep Archival. Okay, so in S3 Glacier, we know that the data is readily accessed, but in S3 Glacier Deep Archival, we are 100% sure the data would be very rarely accessed, right? The durability again would be 99.99%, but here the change would be that retrieval time. In case of Glacier, it takes them from minutes to hours, but in retrieval time of S3 Glacier Deep Archive, the retrieval time is 12 hours. When it comes to use case, it can be used for long-term archival storage or can be used for regulatory compliance. Okay, and also the cost is very much cheaper as compared to other storage classes. It is also cheaper than S3 Glacier, right? When it comes for durability and availability, the durability for it stands for 99.9 times 9. Okay, that was all about the storage classes in AWS S3 standard. With the frequent access intelligent tiering, it changes and switches the storage classes based on the user input that we are giving. Standard IA with infrequent access and standard console with infrequent access with one availability zone. S3 Glacier uh, kept for data that needs to be, that is rarely accessed, and Glacier Deep Archive that is long-term rarely accessed. Right now, based upon the retrieval time and based upon the access frequency, the pricing is being changed over here. Right. That was all about storage classes in AWS S3, and see you in the next one.